Chicken lunch. It couldn't be simpler. Chicken wines. You can hardly go wrong, right? What do we need to pay attention to with food pairing? We need acid. We need to pay attention to sweetness. We need to pay attention to bitterness. We need to pay attention to the salt in the food. These are the four main tastes, right? It's not the same as flavors. They're just the taste sensations you get. So we just try to keep them in the right ballpark. But a roast chicken, that's as middle of the road as it gets, right? We got a little bit of oil and vinegar on some greens. We got some bread with fat butter. We got some bright, earthy radishes. That's a simple lunch. We got some beautifully simple wines that are going to shine with it. Why do we even care about having fancy lunch, fancy wine? Certainly for some days it makes sense. For today, chicken wine. Let's start with the highest acid. In a lot of people's playbooks, that's the wrong way to start. But in this case, I think it's going to be the lightest of our wines today. Let's bring it front and center, shall we? Boom. Goldberg, Riesling from Kemptal, Austria. All about fresh, bright, clean Riesling fruit. Kind of tropical. It's none of that like old diesel-y, slaty, mineral-y notes. If you go to their website, first thing they'll tell you is these are young vines. It's not about complex vineyard taste coming through. It's about one thing, isn't it? Flavor of the grape, baby. Dry Riesling. Oh yeah. Bright, fresh, round, fat fruit. You could leave that in your cellar for another 10 years and it'll get nasty, diesel-y, beautiful, aggressive notes, right? It'll get more complicated. We want it right now. We want it when it's fresh, young, bright. Boom. Ah, chicken wine. Could we eat that more elegantly? No. Oh, that's perfect. Why does it work? Beautiful, fatty piece of chicken. We got bright, sharp Riesling cut through it. Keep things fresh. Yes. All right, what if we're not feeling so vicious and austere and acid-driven? How can we still keep things fresh? Pine Ridge Chenin Blanc Viognier blend. Absolutely ubiquitous. You can find it all across the world. You should be able to find it all across the world because it's outrageously delicious. It's super consistent, vintage to vintage. It's all about just oozing and bursting with freshness. It's a little bit floral. It's got all this kind of like stone fruits and, you know, almost like cantaloupe-y rich fruit notes that you expect from Chenin Blanc and Viognier. Mostly that Viognier, right? Much lower acid. Very interesting to taste in the wrong order. But I think it's going to work nicely with this for very different reasons. Because instead of being sharp and in your face, it's going to be soft, easygoing, and ridiculously fresh. My wife is going to really enjoy seeing me eat on camera. Who let me do this? That just sails through together. There's no point, counterpoint. The wine is not too big. It tastes a little drier. You know, it's a dry wine to start with, but it tastes just a little bit more kind of low key when you put it with that fat, the herbs. Why does this work? Totally opposite reasons, because it just sits in there perfectly with our little chicken buddy. And it's just damn good to drink all the time, right? Macon Village. When F. Scott Fitzgerald's wife Zelda left a car in the south of France because it had, quote, begun raining, Scott and his old buddy Ernest Hemingway got the train south to go pick it up. When they were there and deciding to drive their car back, Hemingway recounts buying a whole bunch of Macon white wines so that they could have something to drink as they drove home. Is that advisable? No! Don't be a danger to yourself and others. Don't drive. But if someone else is driving the car, absolutely the perfect picnic wine. Why? Because it's not really about being the center of attention. It's patient. It is one of the most forgiving food wines. It's all Chardonnay. It's stainless steel. It's sometimes neutral barrels, I guess. It's not about big, oaky, buttery notes. It's just about crisp, clean, bright fruit. Let's get into it. So today, in particular, we got Domaine Saint-Raphael. But really, any of the villages in that region, in the Macon, any Macon village wine, you're going to get in a pretty similar ballpark. So today we're on this one. Don't be discouraged if you see other ones, right? But we get that nice, distinctive Chardonnay nose. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows. It's a lot more kind of medium-bodied. The alcohol is a little higher. It feels like a richer wine than that Pine Ridge. More than anything, I think with that chicken, that wine just seems like everything fresh. Everything that we want in a white wine and everything we don't think about. It's low-key, low maintenance. It's just there to help us have a good time. Delicious. Also, it's not going to mess with anything else on our table, is it? A little bit of salty bread and butter? No problem, right? Right? Ideal everyday food white wine because it is so versatile. But it's a dark and stormy evening, right? Maybe we want to shift gears, go up a bit. Get into some red wine, don't we? Pretty much any light medium bodied red wine that we consider a little bit earthy is probably going to really have a great time. As a chicken wine, you can really hardly go wrong, right? Chianti Classico, Merlot's, Pinot Noir especially, right? But today, we get a little off the beaten path, right? Domaine de Colline in the Loire Valley. Their Chinon is all Cabernet Franc. I'm expecting it to be somewhere between light and medium bodied, little bit earthy, some great sharp, just slightly underripe kind of cherry cranberry notes maybe. A little bit earthy, yeah, but a little bit perfumey. It's not a whole lot of bright fruit showing through, but it kind of makes sense. We just opened it up. Get a little bit of oxygen. I would say that's a solidly medium-bodied little buddy right there, but it's got great acid. Acid the key. Acid the number one key for wine pairings, right? If we had to bet on only one thing. And with the food, the sauce is everything, right? No sauce on this meal, really. So acid in the wine, a little bit of brightness. We don't have to worry about matching it to a particular sauce. Any red wine with good acid is going to be just refreshing, a joy to drink with this meal. This simple, delightful picnic that we're having down in a strange bunker. We've got a beautiful, simple meal, and we've got a red wine that has acid, not a whole lot of tannin, not a whole lot of big burly body. It's just got these beautiful, perfumey red fruit notes. Absolutely a joy to drink even after biting into a piece of spinach. What's this sad buddy doing here? All empty. we had a field trip a little earlier, and we sought some good advice on what to do when the chicken isn't roasted, but fried, as many Americans, perhaps to Tony's dismay, enjoy. Hey, Chef, tell us, we got a bottle of Dope Grower champagne in the fridge at home. We got a field full of beautiful sunflowers and a picnic ready to go. What's in the bag? What do we need with this grower champagne?
Fried chicken, of course. Can't go wrong with some heady champagne and some heady fried chicken.
Yes, yes, yes. Why do they work so well together?
The delicate nature of chicken
Yeah.
pairs well with the finesse of champagne,
Yeah,
and then the rich, fatty kind of nature of frying items
yeah.
goes really well with the effervescence, bright, clean kind of game that
Yeah.
champagne brings to the table.
Why does champagne and fried chicken work so well? Like Chef said, it's all about that breadiness in champagne, the acid. The acid cuts the fat of fried chicken. The breadiness really complements it. So to both contradict and complement it at the same time is keeping its toes on the ground and also helping it to fly with all confidence. It's just a really healthy, supportive relationship, right? Oh yes.